Oh, hi. This is stream number 52. Working on GUI now. So if you've missed it, I've moved on to this. And I can't show you because I didn't save. Great preparation, huh? So we have a nice user interface now with the hex editor that we can highlight things in. And we have a data tree with fake data in it. We can even resize the columns. So a couple things I want to work on. If I click and drag to the right, it grabs that header, which I don't want it to do. That's one thing. Another thing is when I'm hovering over a row, I kind of want to highlight it. And if I click on a row and select it, I want to highlight it even more strongly. And then I want to get some interaction between the hex editor and the data view. So it's like if we click on something in the hex editor, it should select what part that's in on the data tree and vice versa. Of course, this is all fake data right now. So the problem about clicking and dragging into a header thing, I think we need to have a flag to remember if we were dragging the header in the previous draw call. That means I also need to have an else here where I set it to false. Okay. Then let me think about this. If we weren't dragging the header, actually this, I think, I think I need two flags. Like was dragging and then dragging header, was dragging header. Then I think I want an enum. Enum, dragging. None. Dragging, not dragging. Dragging nothing. Nothing. And header. Dragging, not dragging. Dragging nothing. Dragging nothing. Derive. Clone. Copy. Debug. Equal. Partial equal. Add some dragging state. So we're going to default to not dragging anything. Okay, and then down here, this should be dragging is not dragging. Okay, and then we're always going to be doing this. It's just that if we find that we're within a column here, I just thought of something that might be a problem. If we start dragging from below and drag up, it might actually think we weren't dragging to begin with. We'll see what happens when we get there. Might have to change this around. If self-dragging equals dragging, not is, let's see if it's not equal to. The other way around. If it's dragging nothing or a header. Okay. This should move out here, right? Good morning, Adjective Allison. Happy Monday. We want to catch the case where we're not dragging anything, right? How do I detect that? Maybe with maybe with a find. So self.columns intermute find, or if let some column equal need a predicate. Don't need to debug this anymore, right? So now I can have the else. So if the if will have this in it. The else can have this in it. Oh, hold on. I need that else down there. This is nothing. And this is a not dragging. And this is a header. So if we're not dragging at all, and we're on top of a column dragging, now we're dragging the header. If we're already dragging the header, we're still dragging the header. If we're dragging and no longer we're dragging, it's now nothing. Or if we just couldn't find we weren't on any column, we're not dragging anything. Okay, and then if we're not dragging at all, we're not dragging. Okay. Try this out. I'm worried about dragging up from below, but we'll see. So I can drag this still, but if I start clicking here and I drag over here, it does nothing. What if I start clicking here and dragging up? Oh, that actually works. Cool. All right, fixed it. Okay, now maybe I can work on the cursor a bit. That shouldn't drag both of them. Maybe I need to have it record which one we're dragging. So maybe record a which one? Let's make a function for this. Make this easier. So encapsulating the idea of like if we can drag header column number bool match self. So not dragging is true. Nothing is false. Header, other column number will be only if it's equal. This needs to be dereferenced. Okay, so then I can say if self.dragging.can drag header column number so that means I have to do a enumerate column number column what's expected? Oh, right, I have to put the column number in here. Okay, I didn't use it there. And ends with it. Didn't want to call it not. I would call it dragging state. There we go. Avoid the warning. So now if we're already dragging one column, we won't start dragging a different column. So I drag this one over. We're in an infinite loop? No. Interesting. It stops dragging for some reason. And now I can't separate the two. Try that again. What happened there? Okay, I need to actually bring it in within. It's also not obeying the clipping. If I drag, so drag that, if I drag this one over. Huh. I think I need some debugging. Maybe, or just look at this code again. Where were we? Here. Oh, it's gonna find, okay. We should do that. It's if this is true and we can drag it. So this actually should move into there. So can drag header and column number. And I actually don't need this column number anymore. Or do I? I still need it. Okay. Okay. Drag it in and then that works. So I can't make it negative. Column width is an F32. Okay, so it is negative. It just doesn't draw anything. Okay. So yeah, I think I probably should have some bound on this. Okay. Need to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Share stream for a little bit. Do you hear that meow? Hey there, Spoof. Do you enjoy the chair stream? Okay, so this is working. Only I think I have a problem. If I were to like set a minimum width and we start dragging away from that, I think we're gonna lose the drag. But let's put in that minimum drag and see that happen. Yeah, I have this minimum somewhere. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Column padding? Column padding. Where am I using column padding? Column padding. Header border size. Two times column padding plus header border size. I don't know why I have that conditional there at all. I don't know why I have column padding there. It's okay, line spacing over 4. 1/4 of a line. That's really weird. I don't know why I have that. Let's just set a minimum. Min column width. 10 pixels. Okay. So this should be column width equals column width. Well, we're going to do min column width max. Like that, right? Okay. I have a feeling though that when we give it that minimum, if we try to drag it to be smaller, we'll lose the drag. Yep. So we stop dragging because the cursor moves on and we're not keeping up. So maybe what I need to do is not only record what column we're dragging, but where we would have put it. So struct header drag state column number and I guess position. That goes there. Actually, I don't really need that if I combine the two, right? Then I don't need that name. Oh, yes. That's a problem. Partial equals good enough, right? Position. This should do should do an exact match. I'll end up building in this part, right? Yeah, why don't I why don't I put that in there? So that means we'll need that other X, the position of the header, and we don't have that here. So I guess we're not putting it in here. How's that gonna work out? Oh, I can add it in there. No, that's the uh no, I do want to put in that other number, right? Well, there's two of them though. Okay, fine. We'll put them both in there. So this is cursor position and then column position. And then we'll just have a let within close enough. Close is the difference between these two. Right, but here, hold on. Hold. Everyone hold on. I think I need to rename this one. Cursor? What am I calling it? Cursor, right? I need to rename this. Then have a name collision. It's when you put it out here, right? Yes. And then this position is other column position. Other column. No, this is the case where we don't use that other column position. If we're already dragging the header, we don't care about that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we have to see, we just continue dragging. Well, then do I need to record do I need to record this other position at all? Looks like I'm not actually using it. I think I am when I need to apply the delta, right? But I have the absolute position, so maybe I don't need the delta. Can I just set it by absolute position? Well, no, because there's that grab margin to consider. Okay, that's why I need that other one. Okay, so it's column number, column position, which would be X, and then other position, position.x. So then I basically moved that into that. Right. Okay, so this position would be what? Doesn't it depend on the current state of self-dragging? So I need another position, don't I? I can do a filter map, right? Filter? Find map? Column position. I can do sum column number. And again, I need it to return that. So I guess I'm just having it return this. Column number, column position. So it's option. What am I making? Hold on. I'll just run it without building it. So I'm making a tool where you can drop some data into the tool, and it shows you like raw data, and you can select regions of it or whatever. And when you give it a format description, it will parse the data and tell you like what everything means. This is all manufactured. It's not correct yet. But the idea is if you click on a byte on the left, it would highlight what it means on the right. And if you click on something on the right, it would highlight what bytes it is on the left. Kind of like what Wireshark does. So here, like you click a packet and you click something in the packet, and it shows you what bytes that maps to. So for example, I have it running in the command line. I'm just making a GUI for it now. Here's a GIF file, right? It begins with GIF 89A. And the format of that looks like this. GIF file. So this is in a language I came up with. So the tool contains a compiler for this language. It'll compile this into a tree. It'll walk that tree in order and match it with the data bytes. So it'll say, okay, well, let's start with header. Header has a string signature. S is for string signature, 24 bits long. So that's these 3 bytes. And we would get an error if it's not GIF. Then the next 24 bits is another string called version. And then the overall version is what we assign to the header's value. And then we go to logical screen, which has a descriptor, which has a width and a height, right? So those are little endian 16-bit. So that's down here. So this means parse the next 8 bits as an unsigned integer called LSB, and then same thing for MSB, and then we shift it up and add. So it's 300 by 300 if it's little endian. And that's what the tool outputs. So it gets the signature, the version, the return of the version makes the header also equal to the version number. And then here's the LSB and MSB, and here's the 300. Goes all the way to the end of the file. If it doesn't find any errors and uses every single byte, then we know that the format matches. So when I get this into the GUI, we'll have things like a row for header, logical screen, and if you open up header, you'll see signature and version. And then you'll have like a gif.data, and if you open that up, there should be 61 data blocks, and we could pick any one of them, and it would highlight where it is in the file. So that's what I'm working on. But mostly today, it's working on the GUI. So I have the hex editor part done, and I'm working on this data tree, and right now I'm working on being able to like make it so if when I drag one over here, that I can keep dragging, and I should be able to drag back and say I lost the grip on it. I have to pick it up again. Because the bug is when you're still gripping it and it hits this minimum size, that it stops gripping it. GUI stuff is kind of difficult, I find. So it's like the can drag header has to return not only can you drag it, but if you drag it, where are you dragging it to, right? So that's the actually isn't that the cursor position? So do I even need to return anything other than a true false? Actually, I guess I don't. Hold on, let me undo that to back to bool you go. Yeah, can't I just use this position? Yeah. Okay, so that's position dot x. Okay, column number. So we did find map. Yes, so that's that. So this is just position now. Position. Cool. So what do I put for? Oh, I need to have access to the column too. Column. Cool. So we get the column number, access to the column, and the position of the cursor. So then I don't, do I need to? Oh, this is gonna almost work. It's going to like snap the column to where the cursor is, but I don't want that. I want to like retain an anchor position. Maybe that's what I actually return out of this. So then I do return something out of this. But I don't want to return that. This is complicated. I'd have to do something like do a map. If I had this return like an option of like anchor position, then not dragging would be actually this difference exactly. And it's the other way around, right? It should be positive if we're dragging to the right of it and negative if we're dragging to the left of it. So we're going to make this the anchor. And we're close enough if the anchor is within the grab margin. This is going to be some anchor. But if we're already dragging the header, then yeah, I want this as an anchor. That's what I want. I want to use the existing anchor. So this is none. And then this is, I need the anchor. Because what we want to return here is if this is true, else none. And there's an easier way to do that, but I'll let the warning tell me about it. So this should be some anchor. It should use this anchor. Okay. Then down here, it just gets a little complicated because it's self can drag anchor, but then I got to map the anchor to some and then anchor here. No, I don't need to say some anymore. I just do that. Okay, and then this becomes anchor. And then that's anchor. But then when we set the width, we don't add the delta anymore. It should be position plus anchor. Yeah, position x plus anchor. But then, okay, we added that. Okay, then what I do is I take this out, right? And I put that in here. It's not putting it where I want it to go. Yes, play with the bot's commands. He will tell you that I built this and programmed it in Rust last year. That was last year's project. Yes, we are on a virtual machine. Okay, yes, I wanted to do that because I want to add the column width when we say can we drag it and not add it there. And this actually should be outside here. Oh, hold on. No, wait. It's more complicated than this. I don't want to add there. I want to add unconditionally in here, but I don't want it to come back out of this. So how do I do this? A third argument, which is the width. Well, no, I have access to the column. So I could take the current column's width, subtract it from x. Okay. So it's x. X would be where it currently is. So actually, I don't care about that so much, do I? Ah, this is hard. I'm like dealing with like several different quantities, values in my head at the same time. So we know the current column width. If I could compute a delta, that would be nice. But actually, the delta is really not important here. Using delta to figure out the position already. So it's sort of baked into position. Then I don't really want to use delta. If we're dragging, I want to set the absolute position to be of the edge of the column to be the position plus anchor. So absolute, well, the new position is the old position x plus the anchor, right? But then I need to I need to turn that into a width. So I need to know the position of the previous column. And that was x before we added something to it. So I can have like previous, or I just added something else here. So that would be new width. Yeah, it would be new width. So we would actually, it would be x minus column width plus, no, this minus this. So that I can say that it is the new width. But then apply this minimum to it. Yeah, that's complicated. Oh, we don't have access to the column width there? No. Why not? It has been moved. It moved on 290. Oh, well, we can just say let new width equal pre-calculated. There we go. Let me just see if this works. Need to actually build it. There we go. Okay, so if I click, nope, it thinks I'm always dragging the first column now. Yep, it thinks I'm always dragging the first column, so that's a bust. Okay, this is only if it's close, right? Yeah. So if close, actually, the only place I'm using close is for here. So why don't I just like put this back to the way it was? No, because I need the anchor down here, right? Okay, so then, yeah, so it's if close, some anchor, else none. Okay. All right, so if I drag from here, nothing. If I drag from here, it's working. If I drag here, here's the test. Can I drag it over this guy? Oh, it works. So I could drag it over, I could try to drag it over this one and pass it and go back, and it still remembers that I'm dragging it. If I drop it, and then I can pick it up again over here. Okay, that's a bug. When I pick it up, it should not jump like it does. I think it's actually jumping in the wrong direction, so I must have a sign issue on the anchor. think this needs to be the other way around. Column position minus cursor position. There's like subtlety in user interfaces, right? Because if I click near this vertical line and I click to the left side of it, I want now where I drag it to, I want it to always be relatively like position relative to where I drag it to, right? So if I click on the right side of it and drag, it should land and stay on, like the cursor should still be on the right side of it. So that's remembering, like there's like a zone around that line that's like the grab region, and then if you click on and drag any point within that region, that point stays with the cursor. And then what makes it really complicated is if I do that with the values, the right side of value here, and I make it too small and it stops, it has to still remember that relative anchor position. If I come back and start and continue dragging, it has to remember that I was dragging on that side of it. So that's what I was storing in this this anchor. So it's like the relative, it's the distance from the cursor to where the edge should actually go. And then the reason I have the difference between not dragging and nothing is you could click and drag from nothing, and that means I'm dragging a nothing. And so while I'm dragging a nothing, if I happen to drag over this divider, it should do nothing. But if I'm not dragging and I start dragging here, it should pick it up. Okay, see this pending update of Chromium Snap? Close the app to update now. Like, if I accidentally dismiss that, I don't know how to get it back, and it's really annoying. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what it said and actually close the app now to update, because I don't know another way to get rid of that thing. I think it's updating now. Hopefully it's updating, because that's like an annoying, this is an annoying pop-up. It does say snap. There we go. Has been refreshed. Okay, hopefully that doesn't come back now. That was really annoying. Like I couldn't find any menu in Chromium to actually do the update. Bring back my tabs. Yes, thank you. Can't you manually update snaps through the package manager? I couldn't find how to do that. I don't even know what a snap is. I went through Chromium and I couldn't find any menu to do an update. So are you saying like is a snap something different? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not familiar with Ubuntu, so I don't know what a snap is. There's a software updater, and it always just tells me that I need to pay more. And it says like, oh, you can get these security updates, but you got to pay for them. Here, it'll tell me like, oh, look, you can get these security updates if you pay. Actually, it doesn't say anything about paying here. I forget where it said that. Maybe it's if, well, I don't want to install it now. Maybe it's if I didn't have anything to install, it would say that there are other updates, but I have to it's like you have to update to Unity Pro, Ubuntu Pro to get it or something like that. Snap is kind of weird. It's package manager separate from app, but Ubuntu kind of merged the two in an ugly way. Well, if there was like a snap, like this is software updater. If there's a snap updater, maybe I have to go to software and updates. Is it like other software or something? I don't know. Hey there, A squared. You should make sure you have that update. Which one? Oh, the one I just talked about? Yeah, it's this security maintenance. To extend it, it's like, okay, you're gonna buy a pro version of Ubuntu. Here we go. So how much is it? It doesn't even say. I have to click on something to enable it. Okay, I don't know. I don't know how to get to that snaps thing. Anyway, I'm happy I fixed this. So the last thing I would want to do is try to figure out how to show a different cursor when we're within the grab region, right? So let me learn how to do that. That has to do with it's at one of these demos, right? Like a cursor or pointer or something. Cursor test. Here we go. Right, so we get a different cursor if we highlight over these things, right? So there's probably a... Don't tell me there's a source link and I can't get to it because it's too big. How do I get to it? Uh, can I make the window smaller? Yes, I can. No, I can't. It just snaps up when I try to do that. How do I get to the bottom of it? My account is so underrated. Gonna follow it because I really like my content. It's really nice how I explain stuff. Hopefully, I'll be a pro. I'm not, well, thank you for the compliment. I don't feel like I'm a pro, but that's just probably just what's the so noob mean? Oh, Twitch prevents empty spaces. Yeah, I appreciate the compliment. What coding language does the Twitch bot use? It's all written in Rust. In fact, I can show you the bot. Can't I? New window. Actually, I don't know if I have the bot in the virtual machine. I do not. I got the keyboard in there. I'll be working on the bot at some point because there's some to-do items on the bot that I need to go do. Well, I don't make money from Rust though. I make money from other kinds of programming. So there's a microcode update, A squared. Yeah, Twitch chat is kind of weird about the text. Like, I think they don't like empty spaces because people abused that in the past. That's my guess. There's also some other things that they don't allow, like because they conflict with other uses of the input system. Like I think dot at the front of your chat, you can't use that because that's a substitute for a forward slash, which is used for commands. Do you C++ professionally? Yes, I do. Which I don't know. I still feel that like my coding skills aren't that great relative to some other people I know because there's a disadvantage in being self-taught, right? And that's you learn bad habits. If you're taught in a more rigorous structure, I feel that the you don't learn those bad habits at the beginning, or if you do, your teacher helps you avoid those bad habits. But I've developed a lot of bad habits, and actually one of them is incredibly complex code like this. And it takes me way too long to realize that it's too complex. And it's when I get to column past the 40th column that I realize, holy crap, my code is too complex, right? That's one obvious sign of code complexity is that you reach column 40 and you're still going. Another indicator is that your file is more than 800 lines long. We're getting there. But also that if the function is several pages long, then it's too complex. So I really need to keep working on that, developing the habit of refactoring earlier and more often. And maybe even as I'm writing the code, like getting ahead of the refactoring issue and like breaking it up early. Oh, but I want to do the cursor thing, don't I, right? Problem is, I don't know how to get to the source for this, unless maybe we can locate it here. If we can find it, if it's under demo, maybe cursor. What would it be called? Cursor test. But I don't see cursor here. Yeah, I don't know. How about I take this and I run it off stream where I can actually make the window bigger. And then I'll get a link back. So cursor test. And I make the window bigger. Oh, yep. Yeah, okay, I got a source code link. I'll bring that back into the stream. So close that. That's funny how there's a source code link, but I can't get to it. There's a source code link. So it was under tests. So it's just here under tests. Okay, so we want on hover cursor. That's what we want. On hover cursor. When hovered, use this icon for the mouse cursor. Okay. Am I gonna stream AOC this year? Yeah. That's like something I really enjoy doing. How did you learn coding? On my own, just reading stuff. So it was before the internet, so there were programming books back then, and there still are, but there was no internet, so you had to read from programming books. But nowadays you can learn just by going online. So like here is a learn Rust link. You go there and you can either learn from a book, learn from examples, or learn through a tutorial. Hey kitty, did you find a bug? That's not a bug. That's a piece of plastic. The cat jumped out of reach, so I can't show you the cat. Well, last year didn't I didn't use AOC to learn a language, but I tried out Go and I was like, this just feels like Rust, only it's not as fun. I don't know if I'm ready to learn another language yet. Okay, well, what on hover cursor, right? Here, right? I think if we don't call on hover cursor, it just does a default cursor. So it's only if we get into here that we want to do it, right? UI.on. Wait, there's no on hover cursor? That's in the response. Okay. On hover cursor. Cursor icon. Well, hello, kitty. Ah, she got away again. We want to like grab. I don't know which one of these we want. Let's look at the list. Grabbing. No, I want like the resize left right thing. There we go. Where's the east west? Resize horizontal. Resize horizontal. Okay, let's try it. Cat's like trying to get my attention. Okay, it's not showing the cursor, which makes me sad. So I guess it's not working. Oh, that's only for dragging. Hold on. So if I start dragging, well, see, it's still not showing it. Is it like there needs to be a drag cursor? Oh, on hover and drag cursor. When hovered or dragging. Okay, that's what it is. Yes. And actually what I want to do is that should be, we should be doing that even if we're not dragging, right? This should do a secondary test, shouldn't it? It's gross though. I don't like it. We'll do it anyway, and then I'll refactor it later. Oh, I hate this. So really all I care about is if it's something, right? And I don't even need a map. If it's if any, right? And then this is like is some. If it is some. Right, I have to have an X. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it already. It's like it's the same iteration, only there's just junk I don't care about. And I need a position X. Ugh. So then it's really just, well, we'll just use this. Actually, how do I get the current position if we're not dragging? Can I just get the current position? Cursor position? Hover position? Hover position. And does that always give me something? If it is a good idea to show tooltip, where is pointer? None of the pointers outside response area. Okay, so it should be like if let some position equals that, then this stuff. And then if we get all the way into here, it's on hover. Okay, I don't like it. But hopefully this works. You don't even want to try Go? Do it in a different SOLang every day. That's what Anthony Wright's code likes to do. Language where if you upcast a nil pointer, it magically becomes not nil. Wait a minute. How is that possible? Well, my hover cursor doesn't work, and my drag cursor doesn't work. Okay, I am sad. Do I have to call this like before I do anything else? Maybe I'm going about this wrong. Maybe it's not part of response. Maybe there's another way to just make the cursor change. Set cursor icon. So I should be doing that. Set cursor icon, I think. Not trying to go through the, I think the response thing is only like if it's for the whole area, right? Context. Set cursor icon. There we go. What does it become not nil? Is it the null object pattern? You heard of that? Null object pattern? It's a nice idea. So it's where a null object is an object with no reference value or defined neutral behavior. So you don't have null pointers. Instead of a null pointer, you have a non-null pointer to a null object. Could be like a prototype object or something, so that you can still operate on it, but it does nothing. So it's just it's called a pattern because it's something you can do in your code where instead of having pointers have to check for null, you don't check for null. Instead of assigning a pointer to nil, you assign it to the address of some global null object. Okay, it's not that, but this is a pretty interesting pattern, I think. So you're saying that there's something else where it upcasts to non-nil? Why is my nil error value not equal to nil? Under the covers, interfaces are as two elements, a type and a value. V is a concrete value, has a type T. Store int value 3, resulting interface value has semantic T equals int, V equals 3. Okay, so interface is nil only if they're both unset. So if you know the interface, but the value is nil, it's not really nil. Nil value stored inside of interface value, such as an error return. Yeah, so it's a type error, but there's no value. If all goes well, the function returns a nil p, so the error value is an error interface holding nil. Right, so it's not really a nil pointer. It's a pointer to a my error, but which happens to be nil. So it's a fat pointer. So nil is permissible for every pointer type. There's a different nil for every type, basically. How they thought that was a good idea? I think it's just trying to have runtime coding of the type, right? So Python does the same thing, right? The type information is available at runtime. So you could have a nil object just in the same way. It's some kind of fat pointer which remembers the type that it goes to. Okay, do I get a cursor? No. I don't get no cursor, so my cursor ain't working. What do I have to do to make the cursor actually hover? Today is no cursor day, yeah. Should I ask our new friend? Find? How do I change the cursor in a custom GUI widget? How do I conditionally change? Oh, I accidentally trying to scroll back with my shortcuts and actually hit back. So now I have to type it all over again. How do I conditionally change can't spell, the cursor in a custom GUI widget? Neither response on hover cursor nor UI or context, or I could just say UI.ctx.set cursor icon seems to work. Find me the answer. Custom a GUI widget, you use the response object that was turned when you add a widget to UI response object. It's basically called on hover cursor. Yeah, but I said it didn't work. When the mouse hovers over the widget. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to do it. First, you need to add... Why is it so slow? Is it just artificially throttling it because of how many people are using it? I feel like it's being throttled on me. Like it's not really generating this in real time. It's already generated it, and now it's like, how do I present it really slowly so that they don't abuse the API? Could be due to the fact that the cursor is being overridden somewhere else in your code. In this case, you can use the context to menu set that. That's what I tried, and it didn't work. I told it that it didn't work. Context set cursor icon didn't work. It's still generating. It's just really slow. Yeah, you can go. Okay, I told it that. I told you. As I told you. Oh, I just did it backwards. Oh, went forwards. As I told you, neither of those worked. Please apologize to me. It always apologizes when it knows when you give it a statement like that. I apologize for the confusion earlier. It seems that the on hover cursor and set cursor icon may not be working. This could be due to the order of operations in your code, potentially a bug in the library. Try a different approach by using the hovered method of the response object to check if the mouse is hovering over the widget and then set the icon accordingly. If response hovered, well, that's not working. Are there any known issues related to this? Well, poop. What if I just unconditionally set it way up here to something else? Like, I don't know. Where do I get my response? Where do I get that response? I get it way up here when I allocate the size. Response on hover and drag cursor icon. Give me the hand. Where's the hand? How about crosshair? Crosshair is kind of a fun one. Let's see if I actually get an error. Why? It was moved? Oh, is that a clue? Does setting it actually consume it? It does. Oh, that's what. Okay, so so I have to like reassign response to it? I don't know what to do with that information. I guess I do let response equal that. Okay, but if it consumes the response, that means it's like adding a side effect, right? Okay, it's still not working. It's still giving me the pointer. It's not giving me the any kind of new cursor. It ain't working. In Go, any type can be nil, it seems. Yes, so nil has a color. Nil is colored by its type. We can bring it off screen. I think the minimum is too small. The minimum should be like here-ish. And also, see how it does apply clipping region to the values, but not the header. The clipping is working, except for the header itself. It'd be nice to get this cursor thing to work. I had no idea what I'm doing wrong. Oh, wait a minute. Do I need to return the response all the way at the bottom? What is this inner? Oh, it's this response. Oh wait, that's my response. That's my response type. That doesn't matter. Okay, there are two response types. I unfortunately named that class to be the same as this response. I probably shouldn't have done that. I think I was trying to model how this works, which is probably a bad idea. Maybe go to Stack Overflow. eGUI. Setting cursor doesn't work. Setting cursor icon doesn't work. Cursor icon gets stuck. It's a closed bug. If I set the cursor to something other than default and move my cursor off the window before it switches back. There's an output cursor icon. That's different from what I was doing. UI.ctx output. What? I need a reader? Read access to platform output. I see. They changed it into a visitor pattern. So I have to actually put it in here. Output. Set output dot what? Response or something? Platform output. What do I get? Cursor icon. Okay, is this what I have to do? I have to actually get mutable access to the output and set the icon. That didn't work either. What do I gotta do to fix this? I don't know. It just doesn't work. Do I need to set it at the very end? Nope, no cursor. Sad. It just doesn't work. I don't know. Kind of reaching the end of my patience. Can't set icon properly. where I don't see where he's setting it. Options. So I don't know what this is. I guess this is a custom icon. Hmm. Okay, I think this is completely unrelated. GUI emits a cursor icon in platform out for each frame as. Oh wait. I think I know what the problem is. I don't have it going all the way to W in it. eGUI has no control over the actual window manager. Yeah, okay, so this is my problem, not their problem. All right. All right. Why do I have two of these open? Close this guy. Okay. So it's getting to the platform output. I'm just not doing anything with it. So that would be WUnit. No, it's actually out. It's in the app. Where is it? Handle redraw. Draw. And we get the full output. Here, we get this full output. And that full output has a platform output and it has a cursor icon, right? So I'm not doing anything with it. Let's do something with it. I guess I gotta send it down to the window. Do we have access to the window from here? We do not. Well, how do I get it back out of the window? Do I send it as an event, maybe? This just makes an assumption that, like, I think it's just making the assumption that eGUI only gives me stuff to draw and a time of when to draw it. Right? Textures, delta, shapes, repaint after. So I need some other way to like pass back out of draw. Let's show the call hierarchy of that. So it goes to here in the app. The app has access to the window. The app inner, right? It does not? Okay, then what does? The main does. The app gets it here in new. What am I doing with it? What am I doing with this window? Getting its height. Oh, okay, there. All right, I moved it into this integration layer. Right, so that this is something we can call, where do we call that? Can I just follow that again, please? Yes. Can I go show all references? Aha. Here it is. So it does make it sit down. It does make its way down into the drawing class. It's called eGUI integration. So I can have, what I can do here is I can have a function set cursor. I have to make an abstract notion of a cursor. So abstract cursor, I guess. Abstract cursor. Let's like default and resize west east and crosshair. Just to test, right? So I need to get into the habit of when I make an enum like this, I should be like deriving clone and copy and equal and partial equal, because they're cheap for an enum with no data. So cursor, abstract cursor. Okay, so then chasing down the errors, it'll be here in the winit class. Implement missing member, and then what we do here is we do a match cursor, and we'll just say let the new cursor equals, and let's get rid of the super from this. Import that from the super. Super. You also generally like to derive to, oh, that's right. Thank you, spoof. I forgot about that one. Thank you. I want to abstract the bug on that one. Also. Okay, so then I'm going to end up calling something on the window, right? Self.state.borrow mute dot don't I have the window in here? I do. Oh, but I don't have access to it from this class. I do have it. Okay, so it's self.window, not state. Self.window dot something with cursor. Set cursor. Set cursor grab, hit test icon, set cursor icon. Here we go. Cursor. So I need a cursor icon. So that cursor icon. Yes. Default. There we go. We're doing it. They call it west-east resize, I guess? East-west resize. Cursor icon. Crosshair? Aha. We did it, chat. All right. So this should work, I hope. I did call set cursor, didn't I? No, I didn't call it. I forgot to actually call it. So it's after we do this, right? I get the full output. Run gives it to me. Get the full output. And we draw with it. Okay, here. I guess we do it here. I guess it doesn't matter where I do it, right? So why don't I just do it right away? Self dot eGUI integration dot set cursor to eGUI full output dot platform output dot cursor. Oh, I have to map this to an abstract cursor. If let some cursor equals match that, then cursor. Okay, we know about default. Crosshair. These have to have some in front. I really should put this in some other like a from trait. If I was I'll do that later. I want to get it to work, then make it right. Make it work first, then make it right, then make it fast, right? So I want the resize horizontal, I think, right? And then everything else is none. There we go. Let's try it out. There's no pre-made eGUI WInit layer. Or is there no pre-made? Oh, you're right. I could probably have done a translation, direct translation between them. Hey, but look, I got the crosshair and it's actually working. Although it's always setting it to crosshair. Even if we're over here. It shouldn't, because aren't we outside of that control? I guess because this control has no opinion. It ended up just setting it directly instead of it being on the response, right? So if I just remove that piece of code here, it should go back to the default, right? One would think. Yep. That's cool. All right, now probably spoof some points because there's probably no need for me to make an abstract cursor. But hold on, you do deserve a point, but I don't think I can use it because I have an intentional abstraction called window in my GUI. So window itself is an intentional abstraction that so that the drawing code doesn't need to know it's using WInit. So the WInit is responsible for converting it from an abstract cursor to a real WInit cursor, and the eGUI is responsible for turning an eGUI cursor into an abstract cursor. It passes through the drawing code, which is completely abstracted away. Where is the drawing? Here it is. This whole class. Actually, that's not true. It is eGUI still eGUI sensitive. So maybe I didn't need. Oh wait, no. It's partially abstracted. The window is abstracted away from eGUI, and the eGUI is abstracted away from the window, but the drawing class is complicit. It knows about eGUI. Drawing knows about eGUI, but it doesn't know about the concrete window type. It might be handy anyway, yeah. It's just that like it would be if I need to go directly from an eGUI cursor to a WINIT cursor, but I have the window abstracted away because originally I wanted to have like pick a different implementation of window, like full tick or SDL. So if I were to ever bring that back, then I don't want drawing or the app or eGUI itself to be like bound to WINIT directly. I am using the eGUI WINIT, but that's because the WINIT has to turn stuff into where do I use that? This event response. Actually, is that the only thing I use it for? I wanted just that one, not the whole line, silly. Yep. Actually, no, we use a state. This is in the WINIT. Actually, then this isn't really a really complete abstraction, is it? It goes through this on event to do some event translation from WINIT to eGUI. Actually, then maybe I should do, for the same reason, I should do the same thing with the cursors. Yeah, so it wouldn't be part of the integration. It would be maybe a direct implementation. It would be like set cursor or something, and it would take a eGUI cursor and well, where's this called from? Handle window event. Feed the event. Oh wait. Oh, because it's because WNIT knows it's using eGUI. That's right, because I don't abstract away the GUI framework itself. So one direction is there's one direction where I can use the eGUI WNIT integration, but the other direction I don't allow that. WNIT the WNIT code knows that it's using eGUI, but the eGUI code doesn't know that it's using WNIT directly. It goes through a window abstraction. So the abstraction is only one way. Custom window event. Yeah, so because I do have only abstracted one way, maybe I could just use the other way is not abstracted. Maybe I could use the integration in reverse, maybe. Yeah, exactly, like through a custom window event. Let's make this a to-do thing because I'm running out of time. I'm not gonna have enough time to do this. Consider leveraging the eGUI WINIT integration to translate cursors directly from eGUI to WINIT, possibly using a custom window event like update cursor event, credit calm kick. Actually, I'll just give you a point for that right now. You got to go to a lecture. I got to go to work soon. So there's not going to be much more of the stream because I got to go soon. Be back in like 2 hours. I'll be at work. Didn't I just set the crosshair as a test? Yes. There's no pre-made. Yeah, okay. All right. Save that. Okay, as it stands now, Oh, look at that. We actually are getting a resize event directly from that splitter now as a side effect of our good work. Do I want a cursor for like when you're hovering over one of these guys? You don't normally get one, right? In these demos, like, oh, or which one of these is a demo? None of these. This one. You don't normally get a cursor when you hover over a drop down. It just highlights the dropper thing, right? Miscellaneous demos. Yeah, these like it just highlights it, but the cursor itself doesn't change. Okay, then not gonna worry about that. What else can I do in like 10 minutes? Maybe, oh, I should try to fix the overdraw thing and then set this minimum to be something a little bit bigger. Or maybe that's fine, right? Maybe I'd want to squish it down to that. That's the smallest I can make, right? Maybe that's okay as long as I don't overdraw the header part. Data tree, CS, close everything else. lib.rs, go to data tree. Okay, so then this is on its render. When it's drawing these headers, I do a clip rectangle. Here we go. It's this thing, right? I don't know why there's that condition there. Oh, I think I know why. Because if it's less than that, then this would underflow. But I'm not going to do that. I don't have any padding or header border size yet. I'm not accounting for that stuff. It's simpler. So we do that after we draw the text. No, right before we draw the text. We have the text and we're about to draw it. Where does it actually draw it? Here's where it makes the text. Oh, it does it. I see. It does this thing around the, right before the text. So right here. Okay, and then I did this clipping code around here somewhere. So that's the outermost. Okay, so that means I'm not clipping before that, so I don't need to like I don't need to fix the clipping area, right? Or do I just restore the clipping? Do I need to get the clipping region first? Yeah, let's get an initial clipping rectangle before we go into here. UI.get UI.clip rect. There we go. So we get the initial clipping rectangle. Then here we go. I did it this way. Okay. So that goes here. So it's just X. Do we have an X? Well, we have a top left. Is top left what we drew for the rectangle? Yes. So top left. Okay, so then it's min max, right? Where it's easy then. I already made it here. Why don't I just like okay, this is where I might want a border because if I set the clipping rectangle to the rectangle we just painted, we actually allow drawing over that rectangle. Let header rect header rect, and then intersect with that. So delete all this, delete that, inner bounds, and then when we're done, we reset it to the clip rect. Let that be true. Okay. Do you have experience from consulting? A little bit. I have a little bit of a consulting experience. I only had like consulting for like 4 or 5 months. Between my current job and the previous job, I did some consulting. And actually, while I was doing that consulting, I wasn't streaming. So looking back at like when I wasn't streaming between jobs, you could probably figure out when I was doing the consulting. I think it was before I did the full-time streaming. Okay, anyway, this should now clip. Oh, look at that. Nicely clips. See that? I can fold it completely and there's no overdraw. Cool. That's probably all that I have time for. So what I'll do next stream is the row selection. And then after I get the row selection done, then it's actually pulling in the parser and actually populating this with the actual parser nodes. And then selection on a parser node should highlight the bytes that go with that parsed thing. They'll be very close to being done with the initial goal. Omega, Papega. Exactly. That's just to test the data tree. So yeah, this is what I call a data tree. It's like a tree, but it can have columns because each thing has an associated piece of data. Oh, we left a debug in there. Let's get rid of that. You're seeking advice. I have been hired to a short project with a goal I have no chance of reaching because lack of experience. I'm not sure how to do it. Will this reflect bad on me as a dev? It won't reflect bad on you as a dev. It'll reflect bad on you as a consultant. What it will do is it'll give you a bad reputation. So you have to be really careful when you, as a consultant, when you are going to take on some work, that you evaluate the contract and you evaluate, can this be done and what will it cost? Because that goes into two things: whether or not it can actually be done by you, and also how much you should charge, right? And sort of going along with that is how much time that you put into the contract that it will take. So if you ended up signing a contract to do some work and you have no goal of reaching it, what's going to happen is your what do you call it? Your customer is going to realize that you're not going to be able to fulfill the contract, and now your reputation is going to be tarnished by that because they're going to go and they're going to give you a bad review, basically. Now, if they're a super nice customer and you plead with them, please, like, this was a mistake, let's change the contract, and they allow that, that's great. But yeah, I think it's not that it's going to reflect bad on you as a developer. It's going to reflect bad on you as a contractor, or the reputation of your business entity. Now, what would reflect bad on you as a developer is if you did reach the goal, but the quality was bad, like you had a lot of bugs. Then it's like, okay, well, as a business, you fulfilled the contract, but the quality was bad. So yeah, the developers within the developing part of it is bad. I hope that helps a little bit. Now, when you say hired, that's different from contracted. So maybe you're not a contractor. If you've been hired as a consultant, then you're not really supposed to be the developer anyway. Consulting is usually giving advice or or giving answers to questions, but not producing work. You're away for some weeks and just assigned to the project as a consultant when you came back. So are you really the contractor or the consultant, or are you just the employee of the consultant? Then, okay, so if there's a separation, like if you were assigned by a boss to do a project, then and you can't get it done, then it's not your fault, it's your boss's fault. So hopefully the responsibility is correctly assigned to your boss. Yeah, so then it's not, no, then it's not going to reflect bad on you. It's going to reflect bad on your boss because your boss signed you up for something that you're not capable of doing. Hopefully the boss, the accountability lies where the responsibility is, right? Which is your boss. Now, if they try to pass the blame to you and say, bad developer can't get it done on time, then that's a toxic employment relationship. And I would not want to be in your position. I'm sorry. You want to be, you want to have an employer that is supportive and assigns you work that you can actually have a chance of reaching. If that's not true, then if you stick with it, you're going to expect to get a lot of stress. Maybe that's good. Maybe you want this pressure to get better, but also like this mismatch in what you're capable of doing and then what you're asked to do. Unless you're looking to grow your capability and like be able to do more in a pressured environment, unless you actually want that, it doesn't sound like a healthy thing. So I would try to look for, try to talk to whoever assigned you the work and say, look, I don't have a chance of doing this, so can you give me a different assignment, or can you give me some help, or can you rework the contract so there's more time, or maybe you scale down the scope of the project and see what they can do. Maybe you learn more about your boss. You can learn about how flexible they are, how accommodating they are, or not. So I have to go. Sorry, but I got this thing called job that I have to do. Ooh, low-level learning is doing embedded Rust. That sounds fun. Well, good luck, Worship the Sofa. I hope that you figure something out with that. We're going to go raid low-level learning, who's working on embedded Rust. Embedded Rust like this! Only his looks like it's on a dev board. I should be back tonight to work on this some more. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have fun. Bye-bye.